Hello and welcome to my 1963 Ford Thunderbird. You join me on my way to the Brooklands Museum for their Easter Classic Car Gathering. This event was originally set to take place on New Year's Day but was unfortunately postponed due to COVID. We are going to pop along and see what gems we can spot amongst the many classic cars that are set to line the historic circuit today. So, I will catch up with you once we're there. So, I have parked up on what was once the start-finish straight of the Brooklands circuit. I've found myself as the filling of a Rover P6 sandwich. There's going to be a huge variety of cars, so I'm going to try and capture some of them, and I hope you enjoy. Oh, we have a bonnet up. A mechanical predicament has occurred. I've taken a short stroll down to the bottom of the hill to take a closer look at some of the cars joining us today. There are so many I won't be able to see all of them, but I'm going to try and capture the rare, the beautiful and the unusual, starting with this Austin taxi. I believe the first of what we know as the London taxi or black cab, although this particular one is finished in a beautiful dark blue. In 1930, Mann and Overton struck a deal with Austin to modify the Austin 12.4 for the London taxi market, producing the design we see here in front of us. And speaking of Austin and the 1930s, we had this lovely Austin 7 sporting an unusual body, absolutely loving the colour combo. We move across the pond to America with this stunning Buick Super 8, which has a very unusual transmission. Fitted is GM's Dynaflow transmission, which is an automatic, but the stator fins inside the torque converter move, which allows the torque converter to have variable stall speeds. And speaking of unusual transmissions, parked next to the Buick is this DAF 33, equipped with a Variomatic transmission, which is a CVT, a gearbox without gears, or a form of belt drive if you like. A little more Americana for you, with this absolutely stunning example of a Chrysler Newport, an immaculate example with the chrome shining in the sunlight, and what a beautiful colour too. Certainly form over function styling, parked next to a much more function over form Ford F-Series. Further down we have a nice long lineup of MGT series, an array of colours. Somebody's car has appeared to have shrunk in the wash, unfortunate, but happens to the best of us. An Italian exotic casually rolling in, a Di Tommaso Pantera, a fiery Italian sports car with an American heart. I believe usually a Ford V8 is fitted. This looks ominous. I guess no classic car meet is complete without a little unplanned fluid dismissal. Got a little bit of a commercial section going on here too, with the Ford D series, accompanied by a pair of Bedfords and a Merc on the end too. The Reliant Robin sneaks past, hopefully he won't overturn. We have a Mark 1 MR2 next to this Lancia, and over here we have this DeSoto, which is a very rare car, in particular here in the UK. DeSoto were a brand under Chrysler but disappeared in 1961. And speaking of rare cars, tucked in the corner is this Lamborghini Silhouette. The first of the Lambos to feature a Targa top. A very rare car indeed, wasn't expecting to see one of these today. Not many were built, something like less than 60 were made during the back end of the 1970s. And further up we have this beautifully elegant Mercedes 190 SL. Looks similar to the 300 SL, but this is a smaller car. A stunning example and a lovely colour. A fine piece of quality German engineering, parked next to a not so quality piece of engineering. Your man here has spotted another Thunderbird, which is always nice to see. This is a second generation T-Bird, so the generation prior to mine. Built and sold between 1958 to 1960, nicknamed the Square Bird due to the square roofline. This is a really nice example, and I especially love the back end of the car and the way the boot lid forms into the number plate. A really nice piece of automotive design. Behind the T-Bird we have this adorable little gem from Japan, the AutoZam AZ1, a sports car built to the Japanese K regulations, hence its size. Designed and built by Mazda and is full of quirky features, the most notable one being that the car actually has gull-wing doors. So this AutoZam is part of a long lineup of red cars, including this Lotus with its skis on top, the Alfa Giulia, Pontiac Trans Am and the Jaguar E-Type. And moving further along the line we have this Mercedes parked next to what appears to be a Reliant Scimitar SS1, There's not too many of those about. And at the end of this long line of cars we even have a Ford GT40. Not quite red, but it's got red stripes, so I'm sure we can count it in. Number 59. The back is open, of course, showcasing its V8 heart with its independent throttle bodies, and look at the stunning pipework, which of course is its exhaust. From American muscle to Italian sports exotics, we have the Ferrari 348 next to a 328, both in the classic red, shining in the sun. Oh wow, look at the Ford Fairlane with his roof down and his sun hat on, loving life as he cruises on by. A stunning Cadillac sedan DeVille in white. Not sure of the year exactly, but would be somewhere around the early 50s, casually parked up next to a bomb. And of course, no trip to the Brooklands Museum would be complete without a cheeky look at the Concorde, the supersonic airliner, powered by 4 Rolls-Royce Olympus engines based on those fitted to the Vulcan. But back down on the ground we have this Plymouth Roadrunner rolling in, followed by, I don't know. If you know what this car is, let me know down in the comments below. But behind that we have the Ford Escort Mark 1, the Capri following behind, and a Mark 4 Escort. Oh wow, an Alfa SV entering the show. Quite the rarity. Absolutely love the way these cars are styled. Now you may have guessed already I have a slight bias to American cars. After all, I do own one myself. But one particular car I cannot leave out is this jaw-dropping Cadillac Coupe de Ville. For me, this is the pinnacle of Cadillac. A true piece of automotive artwork. It's so big I'm actually struggling to keep it in shot. This would make my T-Bird appear small. These tail fins, of course, are the largest on any production car as a result of GM getting a little too competitive with Chrysler, trying to out-tail fin each other. The pillarless doors allow us to peek inside this equally stunning interior with these big comfy bench seats, with Elvis taking the back seat. The sheer variety of cars here today at Brooklands is just incredible. We've got this early Rolls and the MG from Great Britain, this Oldsmobile from America, Ferrari from Italy, and a Toyota Celica from Japan parked next to this Mercedes from Germany. So there you have it, a nice little world tour of cars. Now here's a car you don't see often. This is a Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, but it's a Type 34, which is much rarer than the Type 14 Carmen Ghia, which we all know. The Type 34 was available during the 60s, and as you can see, it features a much more contemporary body style for the time. Underneath is different too, as the car you see in front of you was based on the Type 3 platform, so it has a similar chassis to the Volkswagen 1500 and 1600, so it's not based on the Beetle like the original one was. And continuing the theme of rare cars, we have this lovely Gordon Keeble. These are stunning cars, designed and built in England during the mid to late 60s. Beautiful Italian styling with an American powerhouse, I believe a Chevy V8. The company has a very unique emblem with this cute little tortoise, one of my favourite emblems of all time. Sadly, the company went into liquidation not long after production started. As a result, something like 100 cars were ever built, making this a very rare vehicle indeed. Such a mix of vehicles here at Brooklands today. We have an incredibly orange T2 camper next to the Mercedes, a Volvo Amazon, but what really caught my eye is this Volkswagen T1, which is sitting very low, and if we come around the side we can see it is powered by 7up. With fuel prices on the rise, people are starting to come up with some quite creative solutions. It does just look fantastic though. The pickup variant is one of the more uncommon body styles for the T1. And on the theme of custom vehicles, this Morris Minor has caught my attention. someone has managed to shoehorn a V8 in the front, which is rather impressive. Now, I'm not usually a fan of the Minky Miner, but I think this one is certainly worth a look. It does appear to be a Rover V8 mounted up front. As we approach the top of the hill, I couldn't help but notice this Ford Console Capri. Certainly one of the rarer Fords, and one of the best looking too. What a fantastic shape. Now, there may or may not be a little bit of a story behind this car, as it appears to have a Lotus badge and colour scheme. It did also sound rather pleasant when it rolled in, so it may or may not have a Lotus twin cam under the hood. Who knows? As far as I'm aware, these cars never came with the Lotus engine from the factory like the Cortina did, so imagine this has been converted at some point. If we take a look inside, we can see the GT clocks under the parcel tray and the raised gearbox, which was only featured on the GT models. So if this is a genuine GT model, we are looking at a very rare car indeed. I've headed up to the top of the hill to reach the banked part of the circuit. There are still so many cars to see. Around 1,000 vehicles have turned up today, which is just simply fantastic. Along the lineup of cars, we have this BMW Z1, first of the Z series convertibles, which famously featured these retractable doors which slide into the sill panels. Now, I have a bit of a soft spot for Malaysia cars. A lot of people don't like them or simply don't understand the appeal, but I'm very much a fan myself. It's great to see one being kept on the road, especially here in the UK. This is a Mercury Marquis. Looks like a 72 body style and appears to be in great shape. It even has the transparent hubcaps fitted. But from this 70s land yacht, I am of course drawn to the 60s personal luxury car. Great to see another Thunderbird like mine. This is a year earlier than mine, making it a 62 model, and has the different side trims and grille pattern. I love the colour combo, and if we take a look inside, we have a very clean interior showcasing the swing away steering wheel. This car does also have air conditioning, making it a little more equipped than my car. A very tidy example and great to see. Over here we have a W123 Mercedes estate, who has kindly provided alternative transport home in case anyone breaks down. Not that I doubt the reliability of old cars or anything. I've now strolled back down to where most of the aircraft are situated here at Brooklands. There are just a few more cars I wanted to capture. It's impressive how almost the entire museum has been filled today, top to bottom. Now this is a rather rare car, and the first time I've ever seen one in person, and that's this BMW 2002 Coupe. I've come across a handful of 2002 saloons before, but I've never seen a coupe, which is great to see. Now here is an all-time favourite of mine, the Jensen Interceptor. Truly stunning cars in my eyes. Just look at the beautiful glasswork that is of course the rear screen. A great blend of Italian styling and American muscle with a Chrysler V8 under the hood, and a luxury interior to complete the package. There were 3 marks of the Interceptor, and judging by the front grille I think this is a Mark II, although the taillights look more of the ones found on a Mark I. There were convertible models too, and of course there is the very rare FF model, which is the first production car that isn't an off-roader to have 4-wheel drive. And on the topic of cars with interesting glasswork, we have this Toyota Serra. This is one of 2 Serras here today, showcasing its unconventional butterfly doors. This example is in really good shape. This is another reasonably rare car. One of Toyota's oddballs, but a pretty cool car nonetheless. Mechanically these are similar to Toyota Paseo, so although they look sporty, they aren't particularly quick. But that's irrelevant when you have butterfly doors. Well, that's all from me, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in some of the meets and shows I attend, then give me a follow on Instagram. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.